Hi everyone, Mr. T back here from sunny Sosua. You see the beautiful beach in the background. This town is under great danger of a takeover, and I'm going to cover how and why during this video. And if there wasn't this access to the beach that people have had for the last 40 plus years, we wouldn't have all the tourism and income for Sosua. So I'm going to go into details in this video about what has happened here and what I kind of suspect could be happening here in the future. Let's get started. Let's try to turn Sosua into another Punta Cana.
What happens to us, to the people, to the common folk? I think it's a mistake.
The whole town survives on the beach because everything in town wouldn't be happening if tourists didn't have this beach to come to.
Exactly, yeah.
In benefits and fees the native, the rest maybe this is don't care.
There are about 12,000 people that are involved in the beach. All these people will be out of a job.
The takeover of Sosua is being done in increments, step by step.
That would, of course, destroy the erosion protection of the beach. The beach is well protected from erosion through the trees and the tree roots.
In the end, most of them will disappear.
Yep.
It's not only a shame for nature, it's a shame for the look of Sosua also.
It's Mr. T back again here from Bikini Bar, number 25 on Sosua Beach. Just wanted to go through a few points about what's been happening here in the last 10 to 15 years, which has been very damaging to the economy of Sosua, should I say deliberately destructive. Now there may be those of you who disagree with this, but I've been here in the trenches, finger on the pulse, watching all this crap go on for 15 years. So those who want to argue with me about it, feel free. I've got every detail. I've been filming a lot of these situations I'm going to be covering, and a lot of it is police harassing people. But anyway, we'll get into that. The first thing, I'm just going to follow a little list here next to me so I cover all the points that I wanted to cover. Okay, first of all, how do you grow a healthy economy of a beach town? Well, I met an old chap and he said he was in another town also known to have a red light district, which was Pattaya, Thailand. But instead of trying to destroy it and drive everybody out, they capitalized on what was there and made it attractive for everybody, which is what I like to call mixed tourism. And within a few years, it became a multi-million turnover city. And everybody from the shoe shine boy to real estate agents and the government and all businesses were winning from this. Where here, they just won't leave it alone. There's a group of people in cahoots with the government and big investors that made some sick decision. Let's try to turn Sosua into another Punta Cana, where we can have a very select type of tourist. And their actions speak louder than words. All they've been trying to do, from everything I've seen and learned over the last 15 years, is to try to drive away pretty much everyone. But let me start with the business owners. They've been harassed. They've been approached to sell their businesses to go away. They didn't like the type of business owners here because they were supporting the type of tourist, mixed tourism, which they didn't like. Now, a lot of you may be thinking, well, what kind of tourists do they want? Well, if you go to Punta Cana, you get people paying top dollar to be in a resort and spend time on a beach, even get access to that beach, and then they sell them tours and they sell them everything they can till they go to the airport and fly out. Maybe that's their goal, but what about the 30, 40 busloads of Dominican families and people who come up here in the weekends who want to enjoy this lovely town and lovely beach? What about the tourists of all kinds that's been used to coming here for many years? And I'm talking millions and millions of people of all kinds of backgrounds and cultures and colors. They've enjoyed Sosua for what it is. And I keep hearing this word, they want to clean up Sosua. Clean up. Well, maybe they should clean themselves up, because I like mixed tourism. It doesn't need to be cleaned up. We're going to talk about law enforcement compared to law abuse as well. That's got a big deal to do with it, but you can't turn a pig's ear into a silk purse. Sosua is not Punta Cana. Punta Cana was a bare piece of land bought by investors. They had an idea that we'll put resorts and shopping malls, etc. on it, and there was not many people that could object to it, and they did it. But Sosua has roots that go way back, and everybody has been relying and structuring their lives, their businesses based on mixed tourism. And to just try to carve that out, throw it in the bin to replace it with another concept that they think is much better for their pockets, that's going to backfire. And just like we saw in Las Terrenas, they burnt down a whole strip of shops because somebody got rubbed up the wrong way. And one thing I've learned by being in the streets and business meetings and so forth, and around town here a lot in the last many years, is there's certain characters, if you cross them, you can end up in some real trouble. And they can come with their machine pistols, they can come with all that, but they will burn this town to the ground if they were kicked out and they got to lose their jobs, their livelihoods, and couldn't feed their kids. The people of Sosua have long, sharp nails and teeth, and they will show them if they feel they get bullied around too much. Now, I made a little observation about Sosua. This, I'll call them the cabal that wants to push everybody out. They had an investor, a businessman, build a big plaza in what was going to be the new red light district. And it was way down the other end of Sosua. So all these girls they want to get rid of that happily walk the streets and come down on the beach, they just wanted to hush them down the other end of town. But of course they would come down to this big plaza and it was empty. Nobody there, no men. So they quickly, like within seconds, decided to turn on their heels and get back to what I call the handy horseshoe. And when the men went down there to meet a sweetheart or see if there were some nice girls, they wouldn't stay in that end of town either because there was no girls hanging around there. So they would come back to the handy horseshoe. What is the handy horseshoe? That's the main party street called Petro Clisanta, the road going down to the beach and then up the beach itself. That's the handy horseshoe. And if they try to hush people away from the handy horseshoe of Sosua, they will fail. And I've watched them fail again and again and again. I've seen police and military to go into Club 59 and pull out 130 girls and shut the club down. Over the next 2-3 days, all that happened was they went into all the bars and the side streets, and when things calmed down, they went back to the center again. In other words, that failed. The other thing I said about chasing them to the other end of Sosua, that failed as well. So nothing they do is with logic or reason or considering human nature or what the Sosua people they want. Okay, it's just all about their little agenda. It's actually quite a big agenda, but anyway. The next thing is the police have been chasing a lot of the girls here in town. Well, from what I've learned, prostitution is legal, and I don't see anybody doing anything promiscuous. The nicest most elegant girls that used to arrive in this town got chased away by the police. That was the start of their agenda of chasing the girls away, because they think, oh, if we can chase the girls away, the guys will stop coming. Yeah, right. They came out of taxis and they would put handcuffs straight on the girls and take them away to jail. And the word soon got out to all these nice, what I call weekend hunters. They wanted to find a boyfriend, so they would come out here after their job had finished for the week and see if they could meet a nice foreigner. And that was the end of them. We also lost the high heel shoes. Now all the girls that did have the courage to still stick around town with all the harassment from police, they started wearing flat heel shoes so they could run. And we used to call it the fish tank effect. And the police were the sharks and the girls were the fish. And you'd see like 30, 40 girls come running down Pedro Clisante, squealing and screaming. And sometimes the cops would catch one or two and they would be very violent and throw them into police cars and take them away like they were burglars of a bank. Who's the criminals here? Who's harassing who? Who's violating human rights? Well, I'll let you answer that one for yourself. But if it's legal prostitution and they're just coming to the town or to a bar, where's the crime in that? Sitting on their cell phone and they can be dragged away to jail. Where's the crime committed there? So, yeah, it did scare away a lot of the guys because they got pissed off seeing human rights violations. And then, of course, we also had to watch them beat the Haitians down into the ground and slap them with handcuffs and drag them off to jail. I've filmed it many times where some chap, he comes just trying to make 100 to 200 pesos for the afternoon selling some cell phone covers, and the next thing he gets violated by the police and taken away. They don't even ask, can I see your papers? No, they just throw them in a jail cell, and then they get robbed by other people in jail that the police have connections with. So this is a whole scumbag type system, mafia system they've got going there. Not very nice. Again, human rights violations. But who gave those orders? If the fish stinks, it stinks at the head. These orders to harass the girls were given by the government. So this is what's caused a lot of the financial destruction to Sosua. And then we had 8 years with a mayor who was really keen to make this town as boring and dead as possible. She shut down the streets with ramps until motor conchos killed themselves hitting them. Then they got rid of that. Then she shut down one side of Pedro Clisante and said, oh, you can't park here. And all the shop owners got up in arms because they weren't making the same amount of business as usual. Then she decided that small children shouldn't see promiscuous things. So all the bars and restaurants had to put barricades and smoke glass up in order to stay in business. And they threatened the business owners, we're going to shut your business if you don't barricade everything. And what the guys especially like to do was, watching people. It's called people watching. They do it in every country. And this was such a stupid thing, because who the hell walks their children down the street 9 o'clock at night? The kids should be asleep in bed. So it's all hypocritical. It wasn't about protecting the children's eyes. No, it was about destroying the desire of those who run a business in Sosua to continue running their businesses and to drive away those business people, the tourists that depend on those businesses. I enjoyed coming there. This same lady mayor I'm talking about also decided if we strangle the nightclubs, well, that should drive them all away from Sosua. So they planted 16, 17-year-old girls in the main nightclubs, and then in came the police and we're shutting the club down, and now they've put Chinese stores there instead. How wonderful. This was multi-millions of dollars coming into Sosua. I would be in front of something called the Central, and if you looked over at what's now a big Chinese store, that was called the Latin. There was 300 to 500 people on a big night in there bopping up and down. That was just one of many clubs. But they shut that down. They shut down Rumba. They shut down Caribbean's Men's Paradise, and that was just front walls. You couldn't see anything promiscuous. They shut down Passions. This has been a deliberate assault on the type of businesses operating in Sosua. Now, it's not that these guys don't like sexual things going on, because that always happens in a room somewhere. It doesn't happen in the clubs, it doesn't happen in the streets. No, they're into that shit themselves. They just do it very discreetly. It's about taking over Sosua, putting their vendors in place, getting their type of tourism, their resorts, their condos. That's the true agenda of driving everybody away. But here's just one problem, and that's why they've failed everything they've tried. When you try to push a water balloon onto a table with your hand, thinking it's going to disappear, it doesn't. It just pops up on the sides of the hand. You can't drive away generations of people who financially rely on the town, on the beach, and just expect they'll just fuck off. It doesn't work. But they say insanity is to walk into a wall and think that you can get through it and then continue to do it even after you bashed your nose against it a few times. That's what they keep doing. But the people of Sosua are resilient, and I'll give them all the encouragement I can to fight this bullshit, because if you moved into a farmhouse down the river and that guy in the farm upstream kept smoking you out, poisoning the water stream, etc., how much bullshit would you put up with before you go and deal with the bastard? This is my encouragement to the people of Sosua, the tourists. Keep fighting this crap, because this is a wonderful place. We don't want the beach wiped out. This is a beach with the longest strip of trees you're going to find almost on this island, and everybody benefits from it. Hundreds of people are employed here. Tens and tens and tens of business owners are in business and enjoying running their businesses here. All they want is just the government to stay out of their way, let Sosua grow, and everybody would win, even the government. Everyone, I'm here with Renee. You may have seen Renee in some of my videos before. We made 2 documentaries together about the history and culture of Sosua. Now, focusing on the current situation, they want to take over Sosua, especially the beach, and they've made plans of putting plazas in and kicking all the vendors and shops out just about, and cutting trees down. What do you think of all of that?
I don't like the idea, because I think to convert Sosua Beach, like I know Coney Island with the boardwalk, I know South Beach in Miami with the boardwalk. I mean, it's so common. What we have is genuine and original and beautiful, tropical, informal. It needs a little bit of order. But that's what authorities are there for, not to eradicate it. It's not necessary to eradicate it. But there are certain interests, people who want to invest, convert Sosua into another Punta Cana or something like that. And what's going to happen to all the people that live here, the people that are sustenance comes from this activity? And
yeah, it's a beach town, so everybody relies on the beach one way or another, even if they're up in Pedro Alexander.
We don't want a super VIP resort. I don't think it would be beneficial for the people who are native to Sosua. It'd be beneficial to ones who come here to invest, yeah. I mean, but what happens to us, to the people, to the common folk? I think it's a mistake. That's what I think.
Thank you for your comments, I appreciate it. Everyone, I'm with Jean-Marc. Thanks for being on video, Jean-Marc. Now, what do you think of what they want to do to Sosua Beach?
They want to make it look more modern and stop this nice original culture of the Sosua Beach, which after 6 years coming here, I mean, I never get tired, and I like it a lot. Very original, the little houses, different houses, they do Dominican food, or different ethnicity also. The beach is very a pleasure to swim in.
It is?
Yeah.
It is. That's your friend, how you doing?
Yes.
It's absolutely beautiful out there today. and you got boats, you got people surfing out there, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, this is a nice casual beach, yes?
Yes, very casual. Food is good. People are very nice everywhere.
But I also think there's an income aspect. There's like the whole town survives on the beach, because everything in town wouldn't be happening if tourists didn't have this beach to come to.
Exactly, yeah. 2 in a day make a business busy, you know, and make the economy running.
Yeah.
And then people stay and of course have the pleasure in town.
Okay, super. Everyone, I'm here with Jose Moya, who runs photo imaging not only here in Pedro Clisante, but also on the beach of Sosua. You have 2 outlets. Thanks for being on camera.
Hey, Mr. T, thank you for coming and visit always. Thanks.
Great. Now, all the changes that they're pushing and talking about, where they want to eliminate the businesses from Sosua Beach, being one of the business owners there, what do you think of that, and will it come into reality?
220 location is in the way to the beach from Batey to Charamico. But I think in the 2 or the 3 locations they do, it's impossible. They do something, opportunity for everybody, for each one.
So it's going to kill business.
Of course, they say go change, but it's not the same, because we know many people come here to Sosua to visit the beach. It's the principal attraction. They like and love the beach how it's in the last 20 years, because now it's better. The long
Than it
time,
was.
yeah. So they say now is bad, but it's not the real history. They want to do the different things for
A different concept.
Him benefits, and if he's the name, kill him. The rest, maybe that is don't care.
Well, we've had a lot of things happen to Sosua, which I'm covering in this video, that killed a lot of the business, putting ramps up, closing up all the seating areas and bars where people like sitting and looking out. They've chased the girls up and down the streets. They've beaten up people in the streets, the police, and there's a lot of things that's happened in the last 10 plus years which has scared tourists away rather than making them feel like coming back again. So is that the same bunch of people who are trying to change the beach to something unnatural?
They try to put in the family tourist, but that's take a long time. If something happens with Sosua now, we talked before, if we go take out the bad is for the happens on the street, there are the girls or something is not beautiful, but go put it in first the good and the bad go out. But the only thing with this is control application for everything. Sosua Beach maybe don't need a change, but they think have to do because there is priority another project. We have to see what's going on. If you know the town, go take the rules in the hands.
Now, Elmar, the whole idea of them ripping out trees, putting in condominiums here on Sosua Beach and plazas, what do you see would be the consequences for vendors, workers, business owners, and the people who actually rent out the different spots here? And Sosua's township itself and the people in it.
Well, of course, everything is going to be closed up. Everything is going to be controlled by the people that built the condos, by the people that earn from the condos and the hotels, and the whole money that brings that tourism brings in Sosua is going to a very small group of people. These people will employ, yes, they will employ people from the town, but there will be very, very few people that will work in comparison to the people that are now involved in the beach. At this moment, as far as I know, there are about 12,000 people that are involved in the beach, whether they are people that work here as camarera or have their businesses here, or are working as a motoconcho, driving the customers down to the beach or delivering stuff. All these people will be out of a job. and maybe there are 300 jobs that are being created. So Sosua will be, the people of Sosua will be getting poorer, and the elite that's putting these condos in will be getting richer. The second part is that nature is going to be destroyed here. Now people are sitting on the beach, on nice little small businesses, having a drink in the shade, and that will all be gone. It will be one big concrete block that looks good in the beginning, yes, and after a couple of years it's going to be in decay and look even worse than some of the other projects that are around here and have decayed.
Well, on that, these trees must have taken like 50 years to grow this big and create this much shade.
Yeah.
To chop them down to give the view to some condo renters. It's insane when you think about it.
Yeah, probably they will leave some of these trees in their condominium project, but in the end most of them will disappear.
Yeah.
It's not only a shame for nature, it's a shame for the look of Sosua also. This beach is so traditional, so it feels so natural. When you arrive here you feel at home, and I think if there's condos you feel a stranger, except when you have a lot of money. And most of us don't have that. So we want to keep Sosua Beach just like it is for everyone, for the Sosuans and for the tourists that come.
Yeah, if you owned a restaurant or a bar uptown, the tourists who comes down are coming to a beach town. So if they don't have free access to the beach, they probably wouldn't come, would they?
No, they wouldn't.
And they would kill business not only on the beach but also up in the township itself.
It's the same as with the cruise ships. When you go to Puerto Plata, you talk to the souvenir shop owners. They say they don't have any business from the cruise ships. Yes, there are a lot of tourists on them and they come into town, but they are being told to leave their wallets at the ship because the town is so dangerous. There are a lot of people that rob you, and that's completely not true. They just want people to keep the money in their wallets so they can spend it on the ship.
Well, they take them to very specific souvenir shops during the tours that people take away from the cruise port. So they steer their journey like a timeshare kind of thing to specific vendors who they have deals with so they can make commissions, and then it's back to the cruise ship and off to the next spot.
Yes. Over here everyone is fighting to get businesses, but no one is fighting on a bad level. They all ask you, do you want to sit down, do you want to have a drink? And the next one does it too, and no one is angry at each other because someone sits down in one business and not in the other. But with the elite, it's like always, they don't share. They want it all for themselves. They are not happy with 1 million, 2 million, 2 billion or 3 billion. They want it all.
It's never enough.
When they have it all, they want more. And that's what's going to happen here. It's going to be one big clusterfuck of elite people that are going to destroy this traditional nice place.
Thank you, Elmar. Everyone, I'm here with Martin from Germany. He's a biologist, and you've chased endangered species of plants around the whole island here, correct?
Yeah, I'm doing that.
So I'm just curious, now that I've got an expert like you on camera, what impact would it have nature-wise if they start carving down trees from Sosua Beach and ripping out the roots with machinery, etc.?
That would, of course, destroy the erosion protection of the beach. The beach is well protected from erosion through the trees and the tree roots. So that would be a major impact. It would negatively impact the whole beach. Yeah. And the other is that these trees are whole ecosystems. If you look very closely, you can find epiphytes in these trees, you can find hummingbirds breeding in these trees, and cutting down the whole ecosystem here, that would mean making all these species, all these hummingbirds and epiphytes homeless. That would be really...
It's gruesome to think of if they took a whole strip of trees out here, what impact it would have, not only to businesses and people's jobs, but also to the nature. So thank you for your comments. That's excellent.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And let's hope it can stay exactly how it is and just grow organically.
Well, let's hope that.
Thanks, Martin. Okay, everybody, I've been talking to several restaurant owners and bar owners here to try to see if I could get my finger on the pulse with what they've been informed or told. And it's amazing. None of them seem to know more than just a few little rumors. So this is so typical for this area anyway. Over the years I've seen they just get little hints and it's all confusing to everybody, and then suddenly the government with the police or the military just comes in, boom, and something crazy happens, and then everybody have to jump up and down about the aftermath of their actions. So this is what I suspect is going to happen. They just did it. They came down, military people on the beach, and now they're already starting to chop down trees up at the end of the beach. So they're starting to push their way in, and my guess is the next thing they're going to do is suddenly turn up with police and military again one day and start cornering another piece of the beach off, and that's where we're going to put the first plaza, and gradually people just get pushed out of the beach. So my recommendation to anybody running a business here is keep their finger on the pulse, be ready to contact their lawyer and have their teeth ready to fight back against this takeover, because that's exactly what it is. Anyway, we move on. Now, one thing Sosua has had for the last 10 plus years is a lot of law abuse instead of law enforcement. What do I mean by that? Well, when I see, like I did one day in front of the banks, a drugged lady ripping off her shirt and running around on the street, and there was a cop car sitting there with 3 cops in it, and they didn't even bother getting out of the car and taking her away, let alone giving her a warning. That's allowed because it's too much bother. Oh no, that's real police work. But instead they want to pick on some poor Haitian trying to sell some cell phone covers, and that's a big crime. See, a good police officer is like a good waiter in a restaurant. They're there when they should be, and they're hardly noticed when they shouldn't be noticed. And that's the same with police. So, to grow a society, just like they did in Pattaya, Thailand, I've actually watched documentaries from down there. They've got it down to such a fine art now that the police has English-speaking assistants who actually handle most of the situations between people. And that saved them 95% of the situations at the police station. In other words, the police gets them to a point, if there's 2 guys having a scruff, where they actually shake hands, say sorry, and then walk separate ways. It can be done, but it's going to take good leadership. As I said earlier, if the fish stinks, it stinks at the head, but if it's fresh from the head too. So before the government blames that we need to clean up Sosua, maybe they need to clean up their police force. And that has to come from good principles based on honesty, ethics, and human rights and civil rights and property rights being respected. Only then do you have a society that can function correctly and profitably and efficiently. Anyway, that's my opinion. Let me know in the comments what you think of that. Now, the next thing is, I mentioned something about the camel in the tent, the takeover of Sosua. I just want to give you the story very quickly. That's from the desert, where a Bedouin was sleeping in his tent, and his camel stuck its nose into the tent and woke him up and said, "Excuse me, master, it's so awfully cold here in the desert tonight. Do you mind if I warm my nose in your tent?" The Bedouin agreed, and then 5 minutes later he got woken up again. Now the camel had its face in the tent, asked the same thing, and this carried on. There was the whole neck, then there was half the body, and then there was the entire body, and the camel ended up chasing the Bedouin out of his own tent. The takeover of Sosua is being done in increments, step by step. And if the people here don't wake up and see this BS for what it is, it's a gradual takeover where they want to just push everybody out strip their rights, strip their movement, strip their access, strip them for their businesses. That is their game plan, and it's a bunch of cunning foxes that are doing this. But the enemy of that, of course, is courage and confidence and rights, standing up for your rights. I can encourage every business owner, if they get messed with even the slightest, get a good criminal lawyer, because these are criminal actions against honest, hard-working citizens who are just trying to run a business, or against employees who want to keep their jobs, or against people in general who just want to be left alone to go about their lives in society. And if suddenly the protectors become the abusers, everything's upside down and inside out, and we shouldn't tolerate that. In fact, my opinion is about the whole world right now, it's far too tolerant with bullshit. And you can't retaliate against something you haven't awoken to. So the first thing is you got to be awake to, hang on, somebody's trying to destroy my life, my business, my thoroughfare from A to B, etc. And then we have to take it serious, because if they can get away with a little, they can get away with a lot in the future. Just like bullies in a playground, they need to be dealt with early. Anyway, that's my video for this time. I hope you found the information helpful, awakening. And one final thing, we encourage tons of mixed tourism to keep coming here, because it's a wonderful place. There's nothing that'll destroy this evil agenda that they're running of a very specific type of tourist than if we get mixed tourism here. So from every walk of life, keep coming here, and that will destroy their greedy efforts to eliminate mixed tourism and to, you know, be greedy about who they get down here and how things are run. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Please remember to subscribe, tick that like button, the notification bell, and recommend it to your friends. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.